Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Andrew Townsend, and what we're going to be talking about today is closed captions, using closed captions and applying those to your videos in Camtasia. We have a guest today, Jason from TechSmith. Jason, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi Andrew, and hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Excited about this session and looking forward to answering as many questions as we can.
So what closed captions are, in case you're not sure about those, they are captions saying everything that's going on in your video as far as dialogue. Sometimes you'll put in descriptions of sound, music that's playing. You'll want to describe that a little bit. It's essentially to allow those who are unable to hear your audio to be able to still view your video and get the full aspect of what your video is about. If you have questions during the webinar, we do have people ready to answer your questions. We'll be answering your questions, so feel free to use the questions panel as you need it. We are also recording this webinar, and we'll post it on the eLearning Brothers page for you to find in the future. Keep in mind also that if you have questions about eLearning's templates, Camtasia, eLearning Brothers, or eLearning overall, we have people available to take your call here at eLearning Brothers, or you can go to our website and use our chat. This is the website that you're seeing here on my screen, and there's a chat in the bottom right corner that you can use to ask questions, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. There's also plenty of support on Camtasia's end on TechSmith, and we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But you know, there's no reason you can't become an e-learning rock star with Camtasia because there's so many available assets for you to grow, so many resources for you to learn. We have a blog, Camtasia has a blog, and there's lots of places for you to go to get help. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass the screen over to Jason, and we'll go ahead and dive right into using closed captions and applying those to your Camtasia project. And we'll go ahead and make you presenter.
All right, great. Andrew, can you confirm that you are seeing my Camtasia editor screen?
Yep, looks great.
Great, thanks. So as Andrew was saying, there is a lot of value, both in clarity of message and just quality of video with including captions with your videos. Some states that we work with, it is a requirement in the higher education field that your videos must be captured or captioned so that students that have that need, it's available to them. And generally speaking, there are 3 different ways that you can caption a video. I'm going to briefly talk about all 3, and if anybody has any particular questions as they come up regarding any of those, I'll be happy to field those. And make sure you use that chat or question functionality in the GoToWebinar software on your screen. We're here to help out. So, that being said, the first way is the way a lot of people think captions work, and that's using the speech-to-text functionality. So, speech-to-text on a Windows machine is where the Windows operating system takes your spoken word and, to the best of its ability, creates captions out of them. Now, as you may have seen on a lot of hosting sites such as YouTube, if you have captions automatically applied to your video, you get some very interesting results. In fact, I would never ever encourage anyone to just randomly do that and publish a video because people's rate of speech, their intonation, the inflection of their voice creates a lot of, let's go with unique word choices that the caption editor comes up with. However, if you're using the same Windows machine over and over for the creation of your videos, and you have trained it, and by train I mean you've gone through the training process of teaching your computer how your voice sounds, you can actually have a pretty good result in terms of speech-to-text editing. How that works is very simple. I have a Camtasia project open here. This is a brief history of historical maps of the Great Lakes region. Since we at TechSmith here are based in Michigan, I'm proud of our Great Lakes and the heritage behind them. And what we've got here is 2 tracks. The first track here is it's not mine, it's actually my coworker Dave's spoken word. And then you have a track of slides. And these slides were PowerPoint slides that we just saved out as individual PNGs and brought into our project. So if I wanted to have Camtasia, along with Windows, caption this text, I could do it the first way. I simply would select the track with the audio on it, which in this case is track number 1, and I'd come over here to my Captions menu. If you're not seeing Captions on your screen, you might see a More Tools button here at the bottom left. Mine is exposed just because I have a larger size monitor, but they are available to you. And then up in the top left-hand corner of the Captions window is a little gear. If you open that gear, the last option that should be lit up is called Speech-to-Text. And when I click Speech-to-Text, it actually goes through a whole series of tips for generating accurate speech-to-text captions. You would start here by doing voice training, and that's where you would spend some time, and you are literally going to read passages to your computer so it can learn your voice. You can then get instructions on how to best set up your microphone, and you can add specific words to your speech recognition dictionary. So this is uncommon words if you're using scientific terms, regionally specific terms. My goodness, I've added the word Camtasia and my last name, Valade, to my library, so all those are capable. Once you've gone through this training, and it varies for people, I have on my this is a brand new laptop to me. On my previous laptop, I had about 9 hours of training done just because it would be very valuable. Then we would simply, when we've gone through that training, we'd hit continue, and it would give me the option of either doing the entire timeline of spoken word or selected media, meaning if I had done just a little section or a selection of media, all those capabilities are in there. So for this, we're just going to say entire timeline. It would chew through it, and if this doesn't go too fast, which it should go fairly fast, it's not a long video, we'd be able to do that. So it's going to transcribe the audio to text, and then it will place the captions on a separate track here. In this case, it'll be track number 3 because that'll be the next available track. And I have captions that I can then line up and sync with my video.
Hey, Jason, we've got a question from a few people wanting to know if closed captions, if that's an option in the Mac version for Camtasia 3.
It is an option in Camtasia for Mac version 3. The behavior, meaning how you do it, is different than on the Windows side. So captions are on both sides. One glaring difference right now, and that is a result of the actual operating system, not anything here at TechSmith, and that is the ability for speech-to-text. Speech-to-text is currently specific to the Windows platform, and although, as a Mac user, being able to talk to Siri and those items on my Mac are very helpful, it's not integrated into third-party software as of yet for Camtasia. So yes, you can caption on the Mac side.
Okay, and then one other question was, are these training profiles that you've made, are they migratable?
That is a tremendous question. I want to say yes, but I have not done that before in terms of had I taken that training profile of my voice from my previous laptop and brought it into this new one. I believe I've asked that question of our developers in the past, and I believe you can do it. I don't think it's a very simple process. It's a matter of getting into the depths of your computer and finding those files. I don't know how well new machines then recognize that training profile. I have to defer on that question. Bendon, if you get a chance, you can send an email to me. You can just do training@techsmith.com, and I might be able to see if I can get an answer from our development team specifically on that. So I apologize that I don't have the answer immediately for you.
Thanks for taking those questions, Jason.
You bet, absolutely. So I went ahead and did the speech-to-text, and like I said, this machine has not been trained on my voice, and this is not my voice. This is a coworker's voice. And looking at these captions right away, it starts with, but unless the 8 of you are looking at maps and CEO Allen links, this is nowhere close to the actual script. So it would take a little bit of training and time. However, like I said, if you are the primary user and you go through that training, you can have pretty good results, especially if you enunciate really well and slow down your normal rate of speech. I tend to talk fast, so when I'm captioning or doing a video, I give a little bit more pause and speak with a little bit more purpose so that the captioning editor has good luck in its first time through. So in terms of the 3 ways you can caption, that's number 1. using speech to text. And unless you have training or trained your machine, this is probably your least successful option out of the box. All right. So let's undo that. So we've removed that caption. So the second option, which a lot of people may have, is where you've scripted an actual script. So for this presentation, inside of Word here, we actually created what's called just a 2-column script. We took the slides and what we wanted to say and put them next to each other so that when you have what you want on the screen, it's very simple to then match it up with what's happening in terms of your spoken audio. Then what you would do is go through and copy all the text, and I actually put it in a notepad real quick just to make it easier for copying right now. But then what you would do is come back into Camtasia. You'd open up that caption menu once again on the left-hand side. You would click Add Caption, and then right here you actually have an editable field. So I'm going to take that text that I copied and I will paste it in. And now, technically speaking, I have one massive caption that's all of 4 seconds long. That's not exactly what we want. However, at this point, we are able to sync our captions. And that is done very simply by coming up here to that same gear icon that we found before. And I would click on the gear icon and I would select Sync Captions. And when you select Sync Captions, you're going to get a how-to, and it's basically this. As soon as I hit continue, the video is going to start playing. And I'm going to listen to what's being said, and as I get to words that I want to start a new caption, a new representation on the screen, I will simply click on it as the words come up in the spoken word. Okay? If I complete it, I want to then hit stop, which will show up over here in our caption editor. I'll show this in just a second. Or I want to hit pause if something comes up. I try and recommend that if you're going to do this in one shot, especially these shorter videos, try and get through the entire video without hitting pause. Just give yourself a good effort to hit stop. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for a second. I'm not going to do the whole video because, frankly, you don't need to see the whole video. I'm going to do the captioning, and I'm going to adjust my microphone here a little bit because I want the audio that's playing through my speakers here to be heard while I'm doing the captioning. So once again, I'm going to hit continue. The video is going to start to play, and my mouse is going to be positioned here in the caption editor, and I'm going to click on the words as I hear them so that they create new captions as we go through. So here we go.
As a proud resident of the Mitten State, I've always enjoyed looking at maps and seeing how the outline of the Great Lakes really makes Michigan pop. This inspired me to seek out old maps and take a look at how the cartography has changed as the technology and methods have advanced over the years. While the first maps didn't exactly portray Michigan as a midden, they're still pretty impressive given the technological constraints of the time. Let's take a quick tour of the history of mapping Michigan and Great Lakes region. The earliest map that we'll look at was created by French explorers around 1650. While we don't see anything that really resembles...
I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. Now, obviously, I did not caption the entire video, but as I was doing that, the caption editor was creating a specific caption based on what I had said, or what was said in the video. It then time-stamped it so that it syncs up exactly to the video. So if I play this video back...
As a proud resident of the Mitten State, I've always enjoyed looking at maps and seeing how the outline of the Great Lakes really makes Michigan pop. This inspired...
Now, really makes Michigan pop. I noticed that Dave said something different than the script, and that's okay because within the captions editor up here, it remains an editor, and I can actually still come in and make changes. Really makes, I think Great Lakes really makes Michigan pop. And then I know it doesn't say pop in the next one, so I can come to the next one and simply delete the word pop, and now when I play it back...
I enjoyed looking at maps and seeing how the outline of the Great Lakes really makes Michigan pop. This inspired me to seek out...
So just like that, I'm able to take that text from the Word document or Notepad or wherever you happen to have it, paste it in, and easily sync that video up with the captions. Now I stopped a good 33 seconds into the video and I have this one long massive caption that still needs to be corrected. I would, at this point, start over personally, but you can start from this point to do caption syncing if you would like as well. When that's completed and you have a completely captioned video, you can produce that video out, including to YouTube, where YouTube supports Camtasia Captions, so you could do that very easily. Or if you need to have something done with that script, in the case of, we did this in English, maybe you have some clientele or some students that need it in a different language. Well, at this point, because the video has been captioned, you can use that same gear icon and you can export captions at this point. And I can export them as either an SRT file, which is a subrip caption file, or a SAMI caption file. These are the two industry standards in terms of captions. So I could send it out as an SRT file or a SAMI file, and then people could then go in and make translations, because as long as they don't interfere or edit the actual timestamp, I could then do the third option of captioning. And the third option would be taking that idea, so let's remove the captions here, and I could take an existing SAMI or SRT file and import those into the video. And that's done through that same gear icon in the Captions menu. I would select Import Captions. And in this case, for this particular project, I do have a Captions SAMI file and an SRT file. So for fun, let's go ahead and grab the SAMI file. And it is now perfectly synced based on those timestamps with the video as we had created it originally. So 3 real simple ways, depending on what you have at your disposal, for captioning. Speech to text, which is done best served by a machine that has been trained with your voice. So using it with someone else's recording, as we just saw here, could be a bit challenging. Not impossible, but could be a bit challenging. The second option is to take an existing script that you have written and simply copy and paste it in and sync it with the video by going through the Sync Captions option up here in the gear. Or the third option, which is to import either a SRT or SAMI file and have that already synced with this project, and would allow for complete captioning. At this point, you would need to decide then where the video is going to live. So in terms of where the video lives natively for caption support, if we come up here to the Share menu, if you share it to screencast.com, which is a TechSmith hosting site, those captions will work perfectly fine. If you send it to YouTube, the captions will now also work inside of YouTube. It's just when you export it, there's a simple little checkbox that says include captions or upload captions, and it'll go along with it. Or if you want to host that video in TechSmith Relay, which is another hosting site, but that's more of a system-wide solution. Many of you may not have Relay. Or the fourth one, of course, is to save it locally using a video. It's called the Smart Player from TechSmith. It's a wrapper that goes around the video and allows for that caption to work. Captioning is part of one of the 4 interactivity things that we include in Camtasia, both hotspots, table of contents, captioning. Okay. Andrew, I've talked quite a bit, and I've got to believe some questions have come in. Is there anything that I can address that you've seen so far?
Yeah, there's a few questions that we've got. The first one that's come up a couple of times is, can you adjust the length of a certain caption on the screen? So dragging it around just to ensure that it will line up appropriately.
Sure. Yep. So every time we've added a caption here on this captions track, you actually have, if I put my mouse between any of the separated captions, I actually get a double-ended arrow, which allows me then to adjust the length of that caption back and forth. Okay. That is best done initially without bringing in the SAMI file, because as you can see, since this is a fixed video length, if I adjust the length of time that, say, this caption is on the screen, I directly affect the amount of time the next one is on the screen. So while you can do some subtle changes, you want to be really sure that you're still syncing it up so that you're not confusing your audience. But yes, you can.
All right, great. Another question is, can you change the color or font of these captions?
Well, yes, you can. And that is done here. So if I am inside the editor, I actually have this little drop-down menu to the immediate left that is the font properties. So that includes bolding and italicizing, the font type, color, size. Right now it's set up for ADA compliance. So ADA compliance is those 3 lines, a certain font size, a certain color. So I personally do not make any adjustments to the font, but you can do that right here in this drop-down menu from the editor.
All right, and another question is, are there older versions of Camtasia that also allow for captions?
For certain version 8, the version 8 series, which we've had for the last 3+ years, that also has roughly the same workflow for captioning. Versions before that, I cannot speak to be honest, off the top of my head. 8 did it wonderfully, had a very similar workflow to this. You would actually paste instead of pasting the captions here onto the canvas, you would actually do it in a separate window. And for those who are interested in doing that, you can actually pull that up here on our TechSmith website. If you come to TechSmith.com and come up to the Help menu and Tutorials, while all the tutorials, and especially the Camtasia ones, are going to be for our current version, which is version 9. If you happen to have a previous version like version 8 here, captioning has its own section right down here, and it'll tell you how to do most of the steps that I just did today throughout your version 8.
All right, great. I'm looking through trying to find any other questions here. There's one that wants to know, do your captions have to start at the very beginning of your video?
They do not. So whenever I decide that I want to do that sync captions option, it'll actually start wherever I have my playhead. So if I want to have, say, a title slide of 15 seconds or whatever, some information on the screen, I don't have to actually start my speech-to-text captioning or manual captioning until the playhead starts it. So you would actually place the playhead where you want the captions to start, and that's where you would start your process.
All right. We have one other question before we move on. It is this person missed the part where we first inserted the captions. Are you just copying pasting from a Word doc, or are you uploading a TXT file?
It's actually just copy and paste. So if we wanted to do that from scratch again, we can do that real quick. So we'll remove these captions. And in this case, I want the captions to start. So this is the beginning of my video, but the spoken word starts right about here. So I'm actually going to start that process here. I'm going to add a new caption. And you can see the caption actually starts delayed. And I have this text screen, or text box right here. I'm simply going to go into either my Word document, or in this case my Notepad, and I selected all the media. I copy that text, just doing a Control-C, and I simply Control-V and paste it into that caption area, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to begin my syncing process up here on the left-hand side.
All right, perfect. Looks like that answered the questions. Let's see. Okay, one last question. If you're in Camtasia 8, the most recent version of Camtasia 8, are there any major differences between the captions process for 8 versus 9? Are there any leaps of improvement?
I think the responsiveness and accuracy is there. So the biggest thing that I have as a difference is the ability to edit right here in the canvas area. So you have a quicker representation of what's happening in terms of your ability to edit at that point. That is the main difference. The performance-wise, just a little bit, I want to use the word snappier because it's now a 64-bit video processor. So all those sorts of things, the reaction time is going to be quicker. But the general workflow is largely the same. So there should not be a learning curve if you're going from 8 to 9.
Awesome. We also got a suggestion from Dana that for Mac users, you can use the speech-to-text in Word and then import your finished file from Word into Camtasia. So that's a pretty cool speech-to-text workaround there.
That is good. And I've also heard people doing it with what is it? Speak naturally, drag in dictation, those sorts of things. It's an extra step. It certainly works, and thank you for sharing that, Dana. I'm always a big fan, personally, of a streamlined workflow, but we also need things to just work, and so I appreciate that as well, Dana. Thank you.
All right, I'm looking at questions. There's a question: does your track have to be the captions track? Does it have to be number 3? The answer is no. You can move those around.
Yep.
They're treated just like any old object files that you can move anywhere on your timeline, up and down tracks and left and right across your timeline.
Correct.
The size and placement.
They can be adjusted ad nauseum. Yep.
Another question about changing the size or placement of the captions. You've demonstrated that earlier. Do you want to demonstrate that one more time for us?
Sure. In terms of actually editing the way the captions look, as long as you have part edited or part selected, like if I wanted to say as a proud resident, in the bottom left-hand corner here, there is a font adjustment textile button. So I could actually make that bold or possibly italicized. I have all my font collection in here, as well as the colors, the size of the font. If I wanted that one for some reason ridiculously bigger, I could do that as well. Right now it is set up as ADA compliant. So if I simply had made changes and I wanted to go back and simply say make compliant, it takes it back to the actual text size, which is 42, Arial, and colorful. So it makes it nice and clean for use in ADA compliant situations.
And if for any reason you wanted to move that caption box to the very top of your screen, is that done in the same menu?
That's a great question. I have not moved the caption box. Some of the times captions either live on the bottom or are baked in, but I personally have not utilized or resized the box. I do not believe that is done here in the editor. I believe that is a fixed item. But I can double check on that for those people that are asking once again. So Bill, I believe, was asking that, as was George. Training at TechSmith.com, and I can do some exploration on that for you.
Great. Good questions just keep coming in. Another one from Omar. Can we use several tracks with different languages in each track and allow the viewer to select which one they want to watch?
That is not supported natively in Camtasia. You're talking about having maybe a drop-down menu in the player that says English versus Spanish versus French or whatnot. I believe that is supported in YouTube, so you'd have to upload individual SRT or SAMI files to YouTube, but that is not natively currently supported in Camtasia, but I am taking notes as something someone might be interested in.
Great question. Great question. Yeah, and I'll walk through how to upload other SRT files to YouTube in a moment. Let me scroll through here and see if we've got any other questions that we haven't already answered. There's a question about Vimeo using captions since there's not, let's see. So you talked about uploading your video or exporting it directly to YouTube, and that includes the captions. Is it the same with Vimeo?
I have not done that with Vimeo. Doesn't mean that it's not possible. That would be something I'd have to check, and I can actually check that while Andrew is doing his part of the presentation as well. I'd be happy to look at that.
All right, great. I'll go ahead and grab the screen then, and
Okay.
We'll move forward here. All right, let's see. Let me pull up my Camtasia. What I've got here is a project that has an eLearning Brothers intro on it right here. And then when it finishes, it comes into my friend Taylor here talking about our templates. And I've already gone in and put in captions. What I did is I pasted in the captions. I did it a little bit differently. I pasted in the captions, and then I just clicked on the split button. As it showed up in the text. It showed up right over here. We saw that on Jason's screen. And then I adjusted these text lines to line up for when he's speaking. So when it finishes, it looks like this. You can see what it looks like without captions just by hiding that track as he speaks and talks about these Camtasia templates offered by eLearning Brothers. So now once I've exported those, what I did is I exported the video in two different ways. One is I exported it in a local file as an MP4 with the Smart Player, and then the other was with MP4 only. And then I also exported the captions by coming up here in the options in Captions and selecting Export Captions, and then I exported them as an SRT. Now I'd like to upload this to Facebook. So I'm going to come here to my Facebook page, upload video, select my desktop here, the closed caption video right here. And once that's uploaded, it'll give me an option to edit that video. Let's go ahead and post this. It'll take a little bit to be processed, but once that's uploaded, and we'll wait a second, I'll go over to YouTube and then we'll come back to Facebook. But it'll have similar options that YouTube has. So in YouTube, we're going to select upload. We're going to select that same video, closed caption video. And let's see. In the advanced settings, let me see if I can find it. Haven't been in here in a little bit. Need to upload a SRT closed captions. I am sorry, I am totally blanking out here. Okay, so now it's here. We're looking for a closed caption. I'm just going to publish it and come to my video manager. Come into video manager. And here in closed captions, we can come into subtitles and closed captions. Now it's going to ask if I want to automatically sync up the audio, and I don't want to do that. I want to upload an SRT. Oh my goodness, it wants me to pick the language. That's what it is. Select the language, English. Set language. And I can upload my SRT here in YouTube from a file, from an SRT. Now this is wanting me to, this should have been done in upload. I am sorry, it should have been done in upload, but that's where you would upload it for YouTube. Now in Facebook, the same principle shows up. Come in here to edit. Oh, you know what? I need to come into the actual editor. Come into my videos. Edit this video. Here we go. Now I can upload an SRT file. So I choose that SRT file, the closed caption SRT file, and save. Something went wrong. Try again. And now when that video plays, those closed captions will automatically play. Oh my gosh, they didn't save. I am eternally sorry. This is not working the way it should. But the trick is that these SRT files that you create, that you export, can be added as closed caption files in your video uploading if you don't have the export option already selected in Camtasia. So if you export to YouTube directly through Camtasia, those will already be uploaded, but you can also upload those SRT files after the fact. And if you export...
Yeah, I just found it.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, they moved it. It's in the Actions menu.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Should I just... mind if I pass the screen over to you if you've got it pulled up?
Let's see. I don't have a video that has one. I just was going through their help file because I thought it was exactly where you were looking too. So if you basically, what you're going to do is you're going to You already chose the language.
Yep.
And then so there should be an act. So where's the actions menu? So that's very odd. I feel like there's something missing on your screen.
Yeah, we uploaded one last week that had the SRT here.
YouTube keeps us guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's usually an action with upload files, and it's easy to find it locally and send it up. Very, very confusing right there. See, even presenters have challenges with technology. It happens.
There we go. And yeah, even Facebook isn't accepting my SRT right now, and I am not sure what that is. But I did want to show what happens when you export it as an MP4. So if I come in here, local file, like I said, I exported one with MP4 with Smart Player, and this was for a different project. But once we finish, here's the Smart Player, and when we push play, I'm going to kill the sound for myself. Here's our video, and there's no captions, but the Smart Player allows me to turn on closed captions. When I click on that, those pop right up. And this is an interactive video, so closed captions are going to work with the interactions. They're going to talk about, they're going to mimic everything that she says, and I can turn those on and off. So that's how you would use it in an interactive video, or if you upload with a Smart Player. And those line up with the video. They export together, so you don't have to worry about, as you're jumping around inside of your interactive video, that you don't have to worry that your closed captions aren't going to continue to line up and still work.
And if you go back to YouTube, Andrew, I think I know where it is now.
Okay. Let's come into here.
Yep. So it says add new subtitles, or hit that blue drop down, pick English, and then it should populate. There you go.
We go.
A new,
upload a file.
menu.
And this is where we can upload a subtitle file. There we go, and there's all my closed captions. And I can even add more if I need to, or move those around. So now those are showing up. And that there was a language drop down, so if you want to do it outside or in a language other than English, you can do that there. I'm not sure if they'll let you do more than one language subtitle at a time here in YouTube. If they don't now, I'm sure the time is coming. So that may be answering some of your questions as far as uploading and getting your closed captionings to work in multiple languages on YouTube. All right, I'm going to take a look over here at the questions, see if we've got anything new about these.
Nothing really that I've seen. No, so Keith just came through. So inside of Lectora, Keith, that's a specific question for that version of Camtasia inside Lectora. Okay. If you have a variable in Lectora that is set to show closed captions, can you add a variable of some kind for the video to recognize that and either show or hide? So automatically, I'm not sure. I have not been inside the way Lectora kind of does its permissioning for videos like that. However, our tech support guys would be able to help with that as well.
Okay, there's a question from Wendy. Can you move the position of the captions so they appear below your video so the caption does not cover the content? Oh, so you're talking about, okay, Wendy, tell me if I'm getting this straight. You're talking about making your video appear smaller in your area so that closed captions are not interfering with anything that you're seeing. Or, okay, yeah, we can do that pretty easily. If we bring up this file, we'll just take the video file, and we're going to shrink it and move it up. And now the closed captions are appearing beneath it. Or if I didn't want to get these bars on the side, I can always, let's undo this, just crop the bottom portion so that it's wider screen like this. I believe that answers your question. Is that right? Okay. Okay, great. Glad we were able to help, Wendy. So yeah, that's an option. In some cases, your closed captioning will get in the way of your video. And and that's unfortunate. So a lot of people will like to move those closed captioning to different parts of the screen, the top of the screen if you've got something important going at the bottom, or vice versa. And that is another option, is to just shrink your video or resize it so that it fits around.
And if you want to send it back real quick, I can show another thing, Andrew, inside the custom production settings as well.
Sure.
All right, so to that exact same question from Wendy, when you go into, well, obviously I gotta move these out of the way so you can see my screen. So if you're gonna do a local file where you're creating that video with the captions, if you go to the local file options and go into the drop-down menu, the second to last item is custom production settings. So when you go into custom production settings, you have complete control over every aspect of your video, including the format it comes out on, the size, the shape of the player, all that kind of stuff. The one thing you'd want to do is go over here to the right to the Options tab. And here's where the captions are, and it gives you caption types. You have closed caption, you have burned in captions, so they're always on, never turned off. They cannot be toggled on and off. Or you can choose under video captions, which largely does what Andrew just did, where he manually resized the video. It will shorten the video up. It won't crop it. It'll actually reposition it, and it will have the wording on the bottom so it does not obstruct the image on the screen. So hopefully that ties into what you were talking about. And then another question was, can the captions be initially turned on? That can be done right here, where they're initially visible, and then the person needs to toggle them off themselves. Awesome, Dana. Glad that that helped you out there. And now this produces it locally, so then you'd have to send it up to YouTube that way. The integrated parts of sharing to YouTube, let me just show what that looks like real quick. If you share to YouTube within Camtasia and there are captions that are part of it, when you hit next, and I hit next too many times, my bad. Let's pretend we're doing it again. So we're going to go to YouTube. Right here, you do your same stuff. You'd fill in the title, description, the category, the privacy settings, but right here is a little button that says Upload Captions. If it's toggled, it'll have the ability to turn them on and off in YouTube, but they are going to be on screen on content captions. They're not going to be below it. So if you need to send it to YouTube and have it not obscure, you would want to do exactly as Andrew said, resize the media itself so it's above. Otherwise, it will be obstructing what's happening. So a good practice is, if you know you're going to be sharing videos that way that are going to be captured, that's where you kind of craft your video so that you still can have it full screen, but don't have any pertinent information at the bottom, or build in pauses to the videos so that that part of the screen is exposed.
All right, great. Let's see. Just looking for any other questions. So for importing your video to video players, essentially what you want to look for is an opportunity to, if you're not doing it, one of the options to export directly from Camtasia, then you want to export your SRT file and or caption file, and just make sure that there's a place to upload that wherever you're uploading your video. Otherwise, you'll want to burn it in, export as as an MP4 with captions, and it'll give you a notification that says, the closed caption, the hiding the captions option isn't going to be here if you do the burn in. Just be aware of that as you move it around.
I also have two more answers for some questions, Andrew.
Okay.
Reached out to the development team regarding, can you change the placement or sizing of the captions box? The simple answer is no. Nope, because it's built in for the idea behind the ADA compliance, so that is a no. And the last question that came through was from Becky. Can captioning lines be displayed to more or less than the 3 lines being demonstrated? The answer is it cannot be more than 3. But it can be less than 3, and that's where you sync it up and you make the choice based on where you're clicking your mouse in coordination with the wording. So I could have a sentence at a time, 2 sentences, 3. I could fill that up as much as I want, but it maxes out at those 3 lines. You're welcome. And no problem, George. We do what we can while we're live. That's why having interaction with people like Andrew and myself. If we can get you the answers, we want this to be well worth your time. So thank you for being patient. Back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just looking through to see if we've got any other questions that you have. I'm actually going to leave the screen with you, Jason, if you want to talk about if you guys have any trouble with closed captions after the fact. There's plenty of resources through TechSmith to get help. Did you want to show some of that?
Yep. So the best way to get a hold of us, if it's specific to learning how the product works, right here at TechSmith.com, off the main page, there is a help menu at the top, and there's three places here that you can get the most help. One is tutorials. That's where our current and previous version of how-to videos are short and sweet and allow you to get in and get out, learning how different functionality works. We do have our support link, which is a technical support area. That's if you're having technical issues, something's not loading right, it's hanging your machine, anything like that. We have live chat agents based right here in Michigan. You can submit a ticket. You can search through the library of tickets in case you have the similar issue to someone that's already submitted it, or you can actually call in for tech support as well. And then we also have our community. This is our Get Satisfaction community, where people are having conversations all the time regarding Camtasia and all of our products. There's all kinds of ideas. There's questions, there's ideas, people having problems. Hey, giving us attaboys and praise, we'll take those too. This is a lot of where we do our feature announcements when we're doing upgrades and updates as well. So a great place to bookmark if you're a constant user of Camtasia or any other TechSmith product, Relay, Snagit, Moray, stuff like that. But if you want to reach out to me, the best way is that training@techsmith.com website.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and take this screen back real quick and talk about some other options that are available with eLearning Brothers. We do offer, let's see right here, we do offer template packages if you're looking for Camtasia templates, lower thirds, intros, transitions, e-learning layouts if you're working on interactive videos. We've got a stock video library. It's the video blocks library that we sell for quite a deal. We've also got lots of graphics, icons, audio, images, all kinds of things that are available here in our different Camtasia packages. And if you're also looking for more support, we also have a segment of our blog dedicated to Camtasia tips. These are tips, tricks, things that we've overcome, projects that we've worked on in Camtasia that we happen to document. There's different things to be aware of. I put out a blog about what to expect differences in Camtasia 9 from Camtasia 8. So this is a great resource as well if you're looking just for some tips and tricks on Camtasia. And if you have any trouble with any sort of our templates or trying to get anything to work, you're welcome to contact eLearning Brothers as well, and we can work you through all of that. You can contact us by phone, by the chat here on our website, here in the bottom corner. You can email support@elearningbrothers.com, or like Jason said, contact TechSmith. We're both just trying to make sure that everybody's creating the coolest e-learning things available, and to make sure that you're having some success with Camtasia.
And don't forget, Andrew, we love eLearning Brothers so much that out of the box with the brand new version of 9, we included eLearning Brothers content in the library preloaded. You have a series of intro lower thirds. They are, yep, right there, Motion Graphics, eLearning Brothers. So these are great ways of adding tremendous professional polish with a simple click and drag. It is pretty amazing how, and even the webinar doesn't do the justice of how smoothly it goes. It is, I tell you, that's been a struggle lately. It is a modernized, colorful, professional-looking piece that once your students or coworkers get a hold of that, they're going to be expecting that kind of greatness from you at all times. And frankly, the library available at eLearning Brothers is so amazing. I've been digging into audio lately. There's a lot of fun audio stuff in there as well. There
is. It's a pretty vast library, and you can get it for a very great price. Right now, we're offering all of our Camtasia templates, the entire stock video library, and quite a few icons and graphics for $149 as an annual subscription. So I mean, there's a ton that you can get. Like I said at the beginning of this project, I put in an eLearning Brothers intro, and I'm just going to drag the playhead because it won't play back very smoothly, but not through GoToWebinar. But I mean, it's this cool jewel intro, and it's got a little bit of sparkle to it. The jewels do, and then it falls back into place. And that's just one. I mean, I've downloaded all of these different themes, and each theme comes with overlays, lower thirds, halves, layouts, intros, different transitions that you can use if you don't want to use the stock transitions built into Camtasia, which is extensive in and of itself. But they're just, like I was saying, the bottom line is we're just trying to help you be successful with your e-learning, especially in Camtasia. I'm seeing a question, are the templates available? As you're saying, are those available on the Mac version? You can download all of our templates for Mac from our website. You can also get the free ones from Camtasia's website. Jason shared that in the question segment.
Yep.
So I mean, all of these are available for you. Go ahead and grab everything that you need and have a successful e-learning. But thanks for joining our webinar. Thanks, Jason, for joining us as well and answering all of our questions.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Andrew, and thanks everybody for the engagement. We appreciate it.
Yep, this was recorded and will be posted next week on our website, or you can reach out to us and we can get you your own copy if you'd like to have this as a resource in your library. But thanks for joining us, and have a good one.